Now, the cost of renting a home in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, is spiraling out of control, leaving many residents struggling to keep a roof over their heads. From civil servants to young professionals, the reality is the same. Rents are rising faster than incomes. Our colleague here, Constance Ikwoku, takes a closer look at what's driving this housing nightmare.
In the heart of Abuja, finding an affordable apartment has become almost impossible. Once considered a middle-class dream, finding decent housing is almost slipping out of reach for many.
From Gwarimpa to Wuye, Jabi to Lugbe, Gariki to Wuse to Central Area and more, rents have surged sharply, in some cases doubling within 2 years. A one-bedroom flat that cost 600,000 naira now goes for over 1 million naira. 2 bedrooms go for 3 or 3.5 million naira, rising to as much as between 5 and 8 million naira, depending on the district.
Too outrageous. I don't think it's normal anyway. And how do you expect? Abuja is a civil servant city. How do you expect a normal person to pay 3.5 million for a rent for 1 year?
Apart from the typical issues that we always hear about, cost of land, cost of building materials, you also have the agents playing a very serious role in kind of influencing the prices and encouraging landlords to ask for a little bit more.
Before, a house agent normally collect 10%, but now they've increased it to 20%. That is one of the major causes of the house rent in Abuja, and it's affecting a lot of people.
Everywhere in Abuja, new properties are popping up. The truth is, developers say building materials are expensive, and landlords are simply passing that cost to tenants. At the same time, rents are also rising on old properties.
There's such an increase in materials, it increases the cost of construction, not to mention the land. The housing market is a free market. It's a matter of demand and supply. It's a matter of, I put my money in here, there are people who are going to take it at what price I put to also get my money back, in a sense.
Economists argue the crisis ran deeper, linked to the weak naira, the absence of rent control policies, among other factors. Meanwhile, tenants are being pushed to the city's outskirts, enduring long commutes and rising transport costs.
Using our own standardized local materials can help to bring down those prices. Of course, regulating land costs, regulating real estate practices, but when you're looking for sustainable, homegrown, organic solutions to affordable housing, then you'll begin to see a difference.
As long as the government will not subsidize and open up like new districts, and even for the existing districts, do infrastructure, drainages, light and all of that, we're going to have this issue where the landlords are putting their money into the market and they will want to get their money back. For the landlords, I would say that a real estate is a long-term investment. You get your money back 10, 15 years, you're good. It's not something you have to recoup now.
As Abuja's skyline continues to expand, so does the gap between those who can afford to live here and those who cannot.
Experts say unless urgent steps are taken to regulate the housing market and support middle and low-income earners, the dream of living in Nigeria's capital city may soon be out of reach for millions. It may well become a city only for the wealthy. Constance Ikwoku, Arise News.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Constance, for that beautiful report and strong advocacy and humanitarian reports indeed. Well, let's discuss further. Joining us for a conversation is Dr. Adekunle Ladejobi. He's a real estate consultant and a member of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. Now, Dr. Adekunle Ladejobi, thank you for joining us on this very frank discussion, because I'm sure we all here are victims of this kind of what has been called an alleged exploitation beyond our living competence, beyond our living capacity. So now, how do you lighten this burden on us? Because you've been accused, your profession has been accused of exploiting this with outrageous charges from tenancy fee, the agreement fee, all sort of levies, inspection fee, even twice payment within a year, and all sorts. People believe that the real estate agents are feeding fat in this process. Could you respond to this?
Thank you very much for having me this morning. Thank you for having me, Your Honor. Thank you, Dr. Constance. I call you Doctor because I see what you do. And also my humble
You're a PhD holder.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's good. Thanks for the correction. Okay, Benga, let me be very frank with you. This is FCT. It's no longer civil servant state or where civil servants reside. We have other business persons that come into town. Some persons have what it takes to rent a property of 2 million at 4 million. And I will just be honest with you. It's a case of the highest bidder. It's a case of the highest bidder. You can't have a property in Asokoro. A civil servant is begging you on your neck, please, I have 6 million. And someone, a business person or some persons that are into maybe public service or maybe a business owner too, said they want the same property at 6 million. In all, to be very candid with you, the cost of living in FCT has affected the cost of renting a property.
Is it the cost of living or the cost of building?
Sorry, apologies, please. The cost of building now, the cost of materials today. I must be very candid with you.
Oh, okay, so when you say it's about who has the money to pay, and you mentioned prime districts, but there's also other districts, whether it's Wuye, whether it's central area, even Gariki 1 and 2. It seems to be the same thing. Is there nothing that can be done in terms of regulatory reforms, to help citizens? Because we're not talking about civil servants. There are also other professionals that live here.
Okay, let me respond from this view. The cost of getting a land it differs in locations, but the cost of building is same. The cost of cement today in Lagos, Abuja, in Maraba, in Yaya, in Wuye is all the same. It's constant. So the cost of building has really affected. The cost of building and materials rather has affected the cost of living today, be it location, be it the suburb, be it the urban or rural areas, so to say.
So how much of high cost is linked to the allocation of the land? So for instance, is there speculative holding of the property? Do you think that's part of the problem why the lands are so expensive?
Yes, I will be very candid with you. In Asokoro, for instance, I'm just in Wuye or suburb now, the urban areas now. The title of documents we have today, CFO, right of occupancy, from FCDA. But looking at a place like Lugbe, a place like Jikoi, what you have today is maybe Hamak. I can't buy a property from Hamak at 10 million and buy same from FCDA at 10 million. No.
Why not?
Thank you. For example, now let's look at the educational sector. Your statement of results is differ from the certificate. If you not get your certificate from the school, you have to pay XY amount of money, you pass through convocation. I stand the chance to be corrected. Like the same way in the land business, in property business today, if I'm giving you a document, AMAC paper, you have to go and process it in ages. You have to regularize with ages. You go to FCD and get a right of occupancy. I stand the chance to be corrected. So this process will be embedded in the cost of getting that land. So the cost of building is generalized, but the cost of getting the land differs. But having said this, I'll be very candid with you. The cost of getting an apartment in Maraba, for example, in the suburb, in the rural areas, might be lesser. The cost of getting such property in Wuye, as a case study, will be higher.
Okay, let's go back to the conversation about rentals and how expensive it is. Now, my issue is, why is there this demand of multiple years of rent upfront? Is this justifiable?
Now, when you say multiple rent upfront, let me understand you well.
Yes, because many times you will hear that this house will be rented out for 2 years. You have to pay 2 years rent upfront. You have to pay 3 years for some places. How is this justifiable?
I'll be very, very candid with you. I think the government has a role to play in this aspect. the solution is not far-fetched. If you're renting a property today, 1 year tenancy is obtainable everywhere. If any landlords come to you that wants 2 years rent, I think it has to be checked properly.
But it's prevalent. It's prevalent in so many, even online, when you see it says 2 years up front. Some places I've even seen 3, and it's very shocking.
I'm also a landlord. Apart from being a real estate consultant, we in Kunlat Properties, I'll be very, very kind with you. I don't do 2 years tenancy.
Okay, now let's look at the tenancy law. Now, this 6 months in lieu of notice to quitting it, to eviction of a tenant. I think that this has been abused and unnecessarily weaponized. Because it now looks like the real estate agents always target that 6 months to the expiration of the contract, and immediately one is given quit notice under unexplainable circumstances. How do you justify that?
Well, let me answer this question in 3 angles. When you say real estate agents, we have the agents. I'll call them quacks. I stand the chance to be corrected. Because there's no body regulating what they're doing. I'm a real estate consultant. I run a property firm. I manage properties. I'm also a builder. I'm into property development as well. I'll be very candid with you. I am a managing agent. I'm professionally guided and bounded. If I'm to increase your tenancy, it's 2 years to the expiration of your current tenancy. No landlord should increase tenancy or rent after a year. Mr. Agbenga, I stand the chance to be corrected. You and I know what's corrected in the economy of late. That really affected. Some tenants pay 1 year tenant rent today. 6 months to the expiration, they'll be served. Because the landlord we are talking about also buy fuels.
Yes, but the point is, what people are saying is that the quit notice is being weaponized because the real estate agent knows that they'll be collecting another fresh charges from the new tenant that will be entering. But whereas if it was the old tenant still retaining that apartment, he would not have to pay those charges again. So in order for the real estate agent to feed fat, some people have reported that they've been given quit notice under inexplicable circumstances, unjustifiable circumstances, just for the real estate agent to collect fresh charges and they smile home to the banks.
This is coming from you. But however, let me break it down. In every property where you reside, you sign a tenancy agreement by law. Don't do this. If you do this, you get this. If I give a property to you and I tell you, don't install solar panels on my roof, for instance, you went ahead and installed, even after when you signed such documents, I have no other things to do. I'll send you a letter calling you to order. You felt you have done it with your money. I have right to evict you from the property, be it 1 year or 6 months. Depends on your tenancy. Depends on the tenancy you signed. That's an issue. So we have to be very frank. People can say whatever, but when you have such issues like this, you go to your solicitor to advise you. Oh, what you've done is wrong. It costs nothing for your lawyer to do a letter to the firm that gives you that property. Oh, my client will take this off. Can we just be in harmony and move on? But some tenants want to tell you, I have paid, so I should nail my solar panels on the roof, or you are servicing your car.
That's when the tenants can afford that cost of litigation.
Thank you, Benga. Thank you. But having said this, I'm coming, Constance. Let me clear this. Because it happens to me too. Some tenants come to my property, I issue them quit notice before 1 year. Oh, you're a bad person, you want fees. No. There are rules. In a football match, for instance, after yellow card given to you once, the second yellow card will be what? Red card. Automatically. It is known. So in tenancy, we should respect laws, agreements. However, the law supersedes the agreement signed by both parties. But however, in a nutshell, there should always be an harmonious discussion to move on. You don't destroy my property because you have paid me 4 million.
Okay. How do you explain a situation where a house has been built the last 10, 15, 20 years and they keep increasing the rent astronomically based on what they say is the fact that no, not when they say that the cost of product building materials
Thank
has
you.
gone
Thank
up.
you.
For
And
an
yeah,
old
they
house.
built their houses some 100 years ago.
Okay.
And then secondly, there's also this comparison made between Abuja and other capital cities in the in the developed world, saying a capital city is expensive. But
Yes.
when you look at the disparity in standards of living, in incomes and welfare benefits, does that even make sense?
I will assist the public here. There's what we call rent passing and rent going. You and I know real estate is an investment. Even an average civil servant today who want to come into land banking, they come to us, real estate developers, to buy land at 1.5 million. They will tell you, when they start building, I will let you know. A year or two after, they will call you, can I sell that land at 6 million? What has yielded? Because we know land, no, it's a free gift of nature, but however, land is constant. It appreciates. They know all these things. But coming to your question now, if I have a property in Wuye, I built 10 years ago. Wuye today, we all know it has increased in terms of rent and even getting a property to purchase today. I will refurbish that property, change some features and fittings, and get it actual rent going in Wuye. Because we all know our ROI, return on investment, is very, very key. I think I've answered that question. Thank you, Constance.
All right.
No, we're talking
So-
about disparity in standard of living, comparing
Different
the capital
cities.
city to other cities.
I'll be very candid with you. This is a city. You and I know it for sure. The cost of living here is higher than other cities, so to say. If you're trying to talk about location now, shall I come to location?
No, we're talking about, when people say this is capital city, when compared to abroad, it has to be expensive, it's a capital city. But you look at the standard of living of people, the purchasing power, the income, and then it just doesn't match.
When I landed in Banjul in China, the hotel I was fortunate to sleep or to lodge was not a 5-star hotel. I was charged. You've been to China, you know the city of China, you know the capital.
She recently traveled to China. She doesn't go back.
Thank you. You know what I'm talking about. They were going to charge you the exact going rate. It's not really about maybe it's newly built or this is Abuja, these other cities. Abuja, to be very candid with you, city, it's higher in living.
Okay.
Okay, so let me ask you for some advice now, because I know a lot of viewers have so much confusion about the rules, the regulations that go around what should happen with real estate. What warning signs should tenants look for when maybe they're house hunting and certain things that are red flags? Can you give us perhaps 3 of them that would be helpful?
One, I will respond from this angle. When you're getting a property, though an average house hunters today who don't want to go around and driving, using buying fuel in their car and go around properties, you still have to go online. You have to be very, very careful. One, there are ladies online in the name of agents. You see someone telling you, my profession is a nurse. I'm a nurse, for instance, but I do real estate agents. Just to swindle people. I have some persons today that I don't even do business with them, just because, one, they are quackery, they are scamming in nature. They just want to make, from that 10%, they will even tell you they want to take all the 10% agency fee. So we managing agents, what are we feeding on? You just have to be careful. When you want a property, in those days when we're being taught these practice, there's what we call castle in Lagos those days. It was in Abuja at the point. You go to newspaper adverts, you read, look at the property. You call the managing agent on for instance, other magazine or Guardian in those days, as so to say. You look at it and you call the real estate agents there in charge of the property, make your inquiries. They will take you to the property for free.
Okay, because of our time, now just as a way forward, what role should government be playing as part of its counterpart's responsibility?
Winga, let me be very honest with you. They have a key role to play. There's nothing stops the Ministry of Housing today to have a section, a department that handles real estate agency. When you do this, you default, you do this, you'll be penalized. When there's no law, Winga, there's always what? We know all these things. So government has a key role to play in the housing sector. There should be a department segmented to monitor these real estate agents and their services.
Dr. Adekunle Ladejobi, a real estate consultant, thank you so much for shedding so much light and insight into this discussion that affects almost a sizable population of Nigerians. Thank you very much indeed for being part of this discussion. And that's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Gbenga Ashiru. Thank God it's Friday, and it's goodbye from me.
I'm Constance Ikoku. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Bye-bye.